Well, you're stuck with me today. So, I don't know, how many weeks ago was that we went on that trip? 2 weeks? 3? Well, 3 weeks ago, my life did a complete 360 at the youth thing. And there was a lot more to what happened than just me being touched by God. And I wanted to share that today because a lot has changed. All of you know I grew up in church. I've been a pastor's son my whole life. And everything was, life was good. Everything was fine. Till a couple years ago. I don't know what happened, but I started going to public school, and, everybody's different there. There's really not a lot of Christian people there. It's mostly just kids who don't know God. And I've always wanted to fit in with everybody else, and all these kids are doing these bad things, and I've always wanted to fit in. And but at the same time, I'm going to public school. That school year ends, and it hits summertime. I'm working 6 days a week, 16 years old. The environment I'm working in is not a good environment. I'm around the wrong people. And if you would have taken me before I started working and taken me after that summer, that school started, I stopped working, I was a completely different person because of the people I was around. And they completely changed my whole life. And I always had a good example of who to be, like my father. I've never seen or heard him do anything bad in my entire life, but I was around these people every single day that did bad stuff, said bad stuff, and it completely changed my life. And because of that, because my life changed, I always saw myself as a bad person, and I started letting negative thoughts come into my head, and it really led me down into a deep, dark hole I should have never been in. And at 16 years old, I shouldn't have been working 6 days a week. I didn't get to enjoy anything I wanted to enjoy. I was out from 7:30 in the morning to sometimes dark. I threw my childhood away for a paycheck. I had nice stuff, but I had all the dirt bikes I wanted. I had everything, but I had no life. And that's when I really started falling away from God. I could care less if I came to church on Sunday or Wednesday. It really just wasn't important to me anymore. And then I kept seeing myself as this bad person, well, I'm not a good son because of the things I do. I should work on being a better example, but I just couldn't because being around the wrong crowd every day influenced me to do stuff I shouldn't do. And my mom would always tell me, you are who you hang out with, and I was always like, whatever, that's bull crap. I'll be who I want to be. And well, she was right. And that's who I was. I said my mom was right. Yeah, you're welcome. And yeah, that's who I was. If you would have asked any of my friends before, some of them didn't even know I was a pastor's son because of the way I acted. I would tell them, I'm like, wow, I didn't know that about you. was like, yeah. And, I gotta turn the page real quick. And I would notice, like, when I came home from work, like, I would just be so angry. Like, and I didn't know why. And, like, my parents noticed, my siblings noticed, like, I was always so angry when I came home. And, like, I had no happiness. Like, I was completely gone. And I was so full of this emptiness. Like, it would get so bad, like, I could feel it in my chest. I get chest pains. And, I was completely broken. And since I was full of emptiness, that's when it really took a turn for the worse. And I decided, well, since I'm full of this emptiness, let's try to fill it. And, you know, all my friends, they go out to parties and they drink and they smoke. And that's what I did, because I felt like I could take this emptiness and I could fill it with something, because that's what we do. We have an emptiness and we try to fill it. And drowning yourself in the bottom of a bottle does not work. And but that's what I would do. I would wait for the weekends, and then I'd go out and I'd try to make myself happy, because yeah, it feels good for a couple hours, but next day it does not. And like, my parents knew none of this though, so I kept it all very well hidden, and they had no idea that any of this was happening, because I didn't say anything. I didn't want to talk about it. I didn't want to talk about my feelings, because I just couldn't. And but that's what I did every weekend. And nowadays, in school, like, if you don't go out and if you don't party, you don't drink, you don't smoke, you're not cool, you're a loser. Because that's what everybody does, and they think it's cool and it's fun for a couple hours, but it's not the next day. And then, yeah, I kept it all from my parents. I wouldn't come home the next day, obviously, and then, like, my mom would text me to come home. I wouldn't come home. I was so bad at listening to her. When she would tell me to be home by 10:30, I'd be home by like 11. And I'd go hang out with my friends. I was having fun, and I was happy. And then I come home, and then I just get this emptiness again. And I didn't know why. I was so confused on where I went wrong and what I was doing, because I felt like what I was doing was the right way, but it's not the right way. And I remember there was a day I came home from work and I wanted some pictures with me and my dirt bike, and I can't remember. It didn't look right or something. I got mad, and then I said something wrong, and it made my mom mad, and then my dad made me apologize, and I just completely lost it. I started crying. I just went for a walk. I walked up into the woods. It was probably getting dark now, and then there was this open field, and I was sitting on a log, and it was a completely clear, starry night. And I was sitting there, and I was like, man, I gotta get my life together. I can't keep doing this no more. And I was praying, and I was like, God, if you can even hear me, show me. And I was looking up in the sky, and there was an empty spot, and all of a sudden a star appeared there. Like, it was the craziest thing I ever seen. But also at that same time, I got this sense of comfort I didn't feel like I did before. But after that, like, not a whole lot changed because I wasn't willing to change my ways to be able to change. And so after that, I just kept living life. Not exactly the same as it was. I quit drinking, but I still felt empty inside. I still was sad, depressed, and I started praying more, but I still didn't really want anything to do with God, and I just couldn't understand why. And so I really tried to start reading my Bible more and spending more time with Him. And I started praying more, but I still just wasn't. I still felt the same way. I still acted the same way. I was still the person I was before. And I saw a video of a tree. It was burning from the inside, and it kind of reminded me of a person, because a person can burn from the inside, but no one would know because the outside isn't burning. And so I lived that way for probably about a year, just depressed, empty. And then my mom told me we were going to this youth thing, and I was like, whatever. I didn't want to go. I didn't want nothing to do with it. But I still went, because there's no getting out of it. But I went there, and I had a bad attitude about it, because I didn't want to be there. I thought it was dumb. The first night, I didn't really do anything but stand there while everyone jumped around me. But the second night, I didn't do much during the day because they were just preaching to us the whole time. And we had that worship service that night, and I was like, I want to get my life straight, and I'm not leaving here without an experience. So we were up front worshiping, and I couldn't focus because everyone was going crazy up front. And so I went to the back, and I got on my knees, and I started praying. I was like, God, I can't do this without you anymore. I can't live this way. And they were talking about being free from things and things being broken off you. So I was like, God, break this depression and break everything off me. And at first I wasn't feeling anything. And I started shaking real bad. I was like, this is me doing this. This ain't God. Because I didn't think it was. And then that's when I totally got wiped out. And I laid there. I don't know how long I laid there, but it was really nice. And it felt amazing. And it was better than anything I ever felt. It was better than drinking. It was better than anything. And well, after that, I went home, went to bed, didn't think anything else of it. But after that, my life, did a total flip. It's been 2 or 3 weeks after, I haven't had any bad thoughts. I feel amazing. I really think a lot of things were broken off me that night. And there has been so much change in my life, it's crazy. I don't even know how to think about it. It's just like a complete total flip. And I hope that if anybody struggles with that stuff, I hope that the same thing happens to you.
Amen.
And that's all I have.